Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and no, you're not dreaming, it's Monday, but we're still going to do my weekly roundup. Yeah! So yeah, I posted that my tummy was really off on Saturday, so I was going to skip it, and then I'd come back on Sunday. Totally forgot that was Father's Day. Oops! That's okay. But I did want to be sure to do a weekly roundup this week because I have some questions that I need your input on, and you guys do not lead me astray, and I appreciate that. So you might be wondering what my weekly roundup is. If you're new around here, thank you. I had a couple of shout outs. I think it was two Shannons. Shannon Talks Yarn. Thank you, Shannon, honey. I love you. And also Shannon from Another Yarn has been talking me up, and I appreciate that so much. I love both those ladies. They are fabulous. Shannon, certainly the Another Yarn Shannon, certainly keeps me on my toes with her challenges. And no, you do not cause me or anybody else to make purchases. We certainly do that with under our own volition, and we open our pocketbooks as we wish. But certainly seeing others make such beautiful items, such creative items, might light the fire within us to make it ourselves. So I am happily influenced by you, and of course I make all necessary considerations before making a purchase. It is kind of fun to needle each other though, isn't it? Okay, so weekly roundup wise, I talk about WIPs, works in progress, or FOs, finished objects. I also tend to talk about the book I'm reading near the end, but no, we are going to talk about the book, but I'm not going to show finished objects because you're going to have to wait for Thursday. So, I did finish a bit, but like I said, you're going to have to wait. I've lost my train of thought. Okay, so we're going to do WIPs, all WIPs today. Let's start with my Aberdeen Wool pickle jar cowl. So, you buy the pickle jar from Aberdeen Wools in Canada, and it's around $50 and you got to pay for shipping. I got mine at the Black Friday sale. They had a great deal. The jar comes with knitting needles and two patterns. I'm doing the classic original cowl pattern, and then there's like a bias scarf. And I figure I'll do this cowl, and then you can buy refills for this. And I might try the bias scarf after this because I'm having so much fun with the cowl. Now what this is, it's micro minis of, they're about 5 grams each, 20-ish yards of fingering weight hand-dyed yarn from Tangled Poets. So it's just kind of a fun, crazy colored cowl we're going to get. I am going to put that back there. I had fallen behind, but this week I did finish the color I needed to add. So there we go. We've got that lovely tonal blue in there next to that brown. And now the brown has some purple in it. I'm not sure. I think you're picking it up a little bit. But I was hoping this purple down here would help draw out the purple here. I don't think it has, because it's more of a plummy purple in there. But I still think it's lovely. I am over half done. The other week I had put the 20th mini skein in. I think I might be on 21, maybe 22. I thought I heard my phone buzzing. I did not. Hey, Chomps! You want to be in there too? Yeah. Okay, so Chomps has been picking the next color from the Jar of Fate, because I haven't like caked them up or anything to figure out what goes next. Chomps, his little hand fits better in the jar these days than me. When it was taller, I could put it in, but now I can't. Thank you, buddy.
So no, if you hear anything that sounds pretty suspicious, that's just me playing a game, okay?
Perfect. You play your game. Awesome. Thank you. You want to come in too, Bingo? Here's Miss Bingo. She just had her 5-year-old child today. And you're growing perfectly, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your doctor was very... Oh, you've got Doritos all over your face. It wouldn't be a video if the kids weren't dirty, would it? Hi. I love you. I'm so proud of how big you're growing. But that means...
What?
Somebody just had her birthday. Right?
Me.
You did. I love you. I love you. Yeah, you turned 5.
Why down up why?
Oh, like and subscribe.
And comment down below
You guys are the best hype
how
people.
old she is.
Yeah, I don't know if they know. How old are you? I think I just said it.
5.
5. Good job, Ladybird. Okay. I love you, Bingo. Why don't you go play? Thank you for being awesome hype people, guys.
So no, before I go, I really want some of you guys to comment down below, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I only have 6 subscribers.
That is very sweet, honey. Yeah, I will link your channel down below. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
I
So, honey, we haven't started a channel for you, honey.
You have to think of a name.
When we start a channel for you, we'll put it on and people can like and subscribe, okay? Thank you. I love you both.
Oh yeah. And
Your hair is curling funny. It looked like hair was growing out of your ear.
so no, you might be wondering why does my hair look different?
Mm-hmm.
So no, my Krafting Kitty
Yeah.
got me a special gel which allows me to style my hair, so
Yeah.
then people won't make as much fun of my hair.
I know, baby. I know. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Mm.
Why don't you go play your game, okay?
One problem.
What's wrong?
My Fire tab is so close of not being able to use it. I'm not able to use it because it's slow on charge. Too low on charge.
We'll put it on the charger. You have a charger in your room.
Yep, I put it on my charger. So
Okay.
can I maybe do something on the TV?
As long as you don't fight with your sister. Okay. A lot to unpack there. So Chomps did get made fun of a little bit for his hair. I don't know why. A couple of kids like to call him Noodle Head Boy. I'm not sure if it's because of his curls or because of his blonde hair. I don't know. But we want him to feel confident and secure. So we tried to get him some styling gel so he could work on styling his hair differently. And that's making him very happy. So kids will be kids and kids will be cruel sometimes. But yeah, so he has picked the next color, and I think so there's kind of this it's a bit more navy than electric, but this very pretty blues, greens, and kind of mustardy gold, and I think that will go lovely next in the scarf, so I will add that. What else do we have? I'm kind of out of it. I didn't expect it to go. I should have expected to go off the rails when I called the kiddo in, but that's okay. Okay, first question for you guys. Let's talk about this. Okay, this lovely Bridget 100-gram sock bag. Well, you don't have to use it for socks. This is a bag that almost perfectly holds I say almost perfectly holds because it's designed to hold 100-gram caked thing of yarn, which is like all you need for socks. But I've been able to shove all the needles and everything else I need inside of it. So there you go. But I had this hobby yarn. It's a Halloween sparkle sock yarn. It's called like Vampire's Kiss or something like that. I am on the toe of this sock. You can see that it's on the double pointed needles. I have just realized I'm not going to have enough to finish a second pair of socks for my own foot, which this sock is made to fit. So here comes the dilemma. I don't mind mismatched socks, but if I finish this and hold it as a mismatched sock, I don't have a second one-off hand knit sock, and I'm not going to want to combine this sock with like a store-bought normal sock. That's not fun, right? So I don't know when I would necessarily have the opportunity to make another one-off sock. So it feels a little bit of a unusable make if I do that. I can certainly finish the sock and try to get another skein of this when Halloween comes around. Last year Hobby had the exact same yarns as the year before. So I'm not sure it would be that hard to get my hand on another one of these. Although this colorway is, I mean, it's pink, gray, and black. It's beautiful. It kind of goes fast. So I'd be inclined to pay full price, which I don't like paying full price for yarn. But you do what you have to do. Or I can rip this out, and I've weighed the yarn. I thought I would have enough for my socks, and I don't know why it turned out so off. But I would definitely have enough to make Bingo a pair of socks. So my leaning is rip this out and just make a pair of socks for Bingo and go from there. But let me know what you would do. Would you be inclined to do that as well? Or would you try to buy in the fall? Or would you just make it and leave it and say, you know, c'est la vie, what will be, will be. I know that's not the right song, but I'm also not looking for copyright hits. Yeah, so let me know. Question 1, what would you do about the vampire sock? Okay, next up, let's talk about this blanket. Okay, so I finally have pieced together I'm trying to really hold this corner out because this is a monster. I'm showing you the wrong side of the blanket. But mostly because I am trying to hold this corner out. I am 1.5 rounds from finishing the crochet border on this blanket I knit on my Addie. It is gijumbus. It will need to be blocked or something because I've crocheted it, and I did go back, and instead of doing 1 round of single crochets, I ended up doing 3 rounds of single crochet around each panel, and then I'm finishing it off with what for me would be 3 rows around the whole blanket, but it'll make it 6 rows, which will mimic the width of what's between the panels. So that's my hope. And then as I was sewing it together, I realized I went back and forth on my joints. So some of them, they're all slip stitch, but some of them are slip stitched through the whole stitch, and some of them are slip stitched just through the back loops. I don't know why I do these things. I don't know why I wasn't consistent. I think it's because I don't have a strong preference on a join technique, and I kind of move through all different types, and that bit me a little bit here, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm working on this. I am a round and a half away from being done. It's all using this Loops and Threads Soft Classic. It's 7 panels I made up on the Addie, and hopefully I will be able to hold it up better for you next week, all completed. But, why did I say but? Oh, okay, so the Things We're Making Thursday project is off my plate, let's just say that. So I needed to pick up a different project, and I went a little organizational happy this last week, and I noticed that I have Whip Island, and the whip bags, the projects, oh, it's getting hot. It's so humid and gross outside. We've got the heat wave happening here, and it's so humid. What was I saying? Okay, so I noticed my whip bags were getting a little dusty as I was cleaning, so I went ahead and grabbed a 18-20 gallon Rubbermaid tote type thing and put everything that would fit in that tote in a tote to further protect them. But they are still there by my chair so I can work on them. But that means Sophie has been shoved into the tote because she fit. I had 2 projects that wouldn't fit. Well, technically 3. But 3 projects that wouldn't fit. 4 projects that wouldn't fit in the tote. One is my Spectre knit sweater that's still out. And then, if you recall, a while back, I bought the entire line of the worsted neon lights yarn from Hirschner's. My intent was to make from half of it a blanket for one kid, from the other half a blanket for the other kid. I had actually in secret started a project where I was filming myself for an hour at a time, and I was going to do a how much do I crochet in a 24-hour period. So you could hopefully see how far in a blanket I would get. I picked a bod stained glass granny square. And I did not enjoy making it. I'm sorry. And I don't think it looked good. And it might have been that I was using this yarn. This colorway is Vegas. It might have been too busy for it. And had I started with one of the solids, I probably would have liked it better. But my intent was to use this variegated yarn. So I'm glad I started here, and I know I didn't like it. So this yarn has actually been sitting next to the chair since I purchased it. So it's been out there just waiting to be made into something. And I decided to rip out that granny square I was working on, and I've shelved that whole project idea. Maybe once the kids are in school I'll have time to film something like that, but it was hard to find an hour where I could sit and set up filming and actually do it, so it was not meant to be at this time, but it's still something I'm interested in doing, so we'll see. But anyway, so I ripped it out and had to decide on what to do next with this yarn, because I still want to do the blanket projects. So what I did was I went through my watch later, which is where I save things I would like to make, and decided to try Krista from the Secret Yarnery's Sober Granny. So that's what I'm doing. This is the first color stripe. It's kind of crazy. That's okay. This one is for Chomps. So he wants a bit of a thicker color stripe, so I'm going to do 8 rows. And then I'm going to put a thin strip of black and then the other colors and kind of just make a big old striped blankie. And I'm trying to go roughly for a twin to double size. It's still a little past my wingspan, so it's probably about my wingspan is roughly 5'8". This is probably like 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 foot. Probably not quite 6 foot. Actually, yeah, this is about a yard, so it's about 6 foot. So there we go. A project you didn't even know you were missing out on has been ripped out, repurposed, and hopefully I'll make some good progress on that, because I am really in a mood. This was the crochet hook for that blanket. Why did I bring it in here? I'm using my 5.5mm dots crochet hook for that blanket. I'm really in a mood to kind of really try to work down the whips. So in that vein, I also had been working on this, which is my Fiber Spider project for the Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight. Now, this is his Cubes and Diamonds. It's a newer shawl pattern, and it's meant to be more of a smaller neckerchief type situation. If I finish this row I'm on, okay, I'm going to hold it this way, which will be the wrong, will that be the wrong side for you? I don't know. It's the easiest for me to hold. I feel like at this point I am at perfect size for what the shawl is intended to be. It's kind of reached my wingspan, and there you go. But it's only used half the cake. So this is my second question for you. Oh, that's just a cacophony of colors and doesn't look good. So here's my question for you. Do I stop here and leave this project as it is, as a more of a shawlette, neckerchief bandana type situation, or do I keep going until the cake is done? And yeah, that's totally my question up to you. What would you do? Would you finish the socks, or would you rip them out? Would you continue the shawl until it reaches the end of the yarn, or would you stop here and say that's a really good size for the project as intended and just work elsewhere? Regardless, this has been moved up to my upstairs crafting area. It used to be my main level crafting project. But one of the other whips that wouldn't fit in the box has been promoted to my downstairs project, and I've made pretty good progress on this. You've seen this once before Armchair Chef Lori so rightfully pointed out, Erin, you've got a whole lot of blankets going on. Do one of those instead of a new blanket for your Things We're Making Thursday blanket. So I did. But then this whip has just been sitting there untouched. So I have pulled out my Sweet Illusions blanket from Bod. This is using Caron Colorama Halo. I've got the colorway Beat. Hers was the green Rosemary Frost. Beautiful. But I've had to scale it down because she used 7 cakes of yarn and I only have 6. So I'm trying to make this throw size, and I've kind of mapped out how to make it smaller. But here we go. It's alpine stitch with single crochets. It's super cute. I am almost through my first pattern repeat and I'm almost done with my first cake of yarn. So that is awesome. I'm very excited for this. I think this is going to be a super cozy blanket and just amazing. So this one I was not super concerned with it gathering dust because it's been in a box, but just so much yarn. But yeah, I want to get the projects that can't go in the tote bag done first. So that one's on deck. I feel like I've been talking really fast and weird and kind of all over the place today, but I guess that's just the video we're going to get today. The final project I have to talk about is my husband's socks. I have continued to work on his socks. I am making simple ribbed socks for him out of this lovely tonal green. It's Jelly Beans Yarns colorway Seaweed. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. The pattern I got is a P4A perk a couple of years ago, and yeah, it's I'm really enjoying it. I think it's fun. Sorry, my watch is acting funny. Yeah, so anyway, I'm using the sock pattern I got as a P4A perk. I have finished the cuff, the heel flap, and the turn. I have begun the gusset. So the gusset is, so I changed the pattern. I didn't like the heel flap. I like the kind of heel flap I'm already used to. I don't remember what was different about it, but I like the slip stitch heel flap, and where you on the right side knit one, slip one, and then on the wrong side you slip the first stitch but then you purl all of the stitches. That's what I prefer. I just think it looks a little neater. But yeah, so I am basically I'm to the gusset where I'm now picking up all those heel flap stitches and then reducing it down until I get to the main body of the foot. And then I'm just in the free-for-all until I get to the toe. So it kind of feels like when you get to the gusset, you're on the homeward stretch of it. So I don't know. Give me a couple more weeks on that one. We'll see. And then yeah, that's my final crafting project to talk about. I'm taking a quick look around to make sure. Yep, that's it. So you'll probably see that shawl again, this one, for Things We're Making Thursday. So I'm working on another wearable for that, because I'm not casting on anything new for that. I'm working on whips. I'm working down the whips. Okay, if you were just here for the yarny goodness, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. If you want to know more about the Fiber Spider Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight, if you check about a week ago, I had a video with all of the information you need. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Not quite 2 weeks ago because it was late. It was around June 9th, I think. So yeah, about a week ago. Anyway, go check that out. Get all of the info. I would love to have you participate if you can. Regardless, I'd love to know what you're working on, what has you excited these days. I love pattern suggestions, and I just love hearing about everything you're making. You guys are so creative and amazing, and I just love it. But if you were just here for the yarny goodness, thank you. That's really all I have this week. We're going to go on and talk about my book. Okay, talk to you later. Now, bookie folks. I am still reading Rogues, which is a short story anthology edited by George R.R. Martin and Gardner D. Dozois. I want to say it looks French to me, but I don't know why. So, it's been a while since we talked about this. When we talked last, I was reading the story Tawny Petticoats by Michael Swanwick. I enjoyed that one. It wasn't anything too intense or too big. It felt a little rushed at the end, and I don't know why. It wasn't my favorite, but it was a fun little read. Yeah, I liked it. The next one was Provenance by David W. Ball. I didn't enjoy this one, but I'm not going to enjoy them all. It was about kind of counterfeit artwork, and it had Nazi tie-ins, but the rogue was not who I expected, and I don't want to give up too much, but this was one where I read half of it and I was like, I'm not interested, so I did skip it. I read to the end, or I kind of skimmed and figured out what happened in the end, but there you go. The next one was Carrie Vaughn, and she had a short story called Roaring Twenties. This one I really enjoyed. I really liked this one. It's set in the 1920s, kind of in a speakeasy, kind of prohibition, but it felt like if you watched the show Angel and the kind of nightclub where the demons and all the kind of supernatural creatures got together. It's that kind of setting, and there is a potential FBI raid, and there's a real feeling of the times are changing, and there's some sort of danger for magical and supernatural creatures. And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a nice, well-written story, and it made me want to learn a bit more about the characters. So I don't know if these characters are featured in other books by her or not. Apparently she wrote a popular series of novels that I haven't heard about the adventures of Kitty Norville, a radio personality who also happens to be a werewolf. Well, that sounds fun. What? That's cool. Okay. Okay, but there you go. So, Roaring Twenties by Carrie Vaughn. That's Vaughn. And now I'm reading short story by Scott Lynch. This is my favorite in the book so far, and I'm not even finished with it. For a long time, it was one of the first ones, the Gillian Flynn book, but this one has taken over. So this is the man who wrote The Lies of Loch Lamora. I've heard of that book. I've never read it. If this writing style is that book, I can see why it's so successful and so loved. And it makes me want to read it. So we'll see. But this one is actually a short story with chapters. So I am just starting chapter 6 on it. This is called A Year and a Day in Old Theridane. And it's fun. It's kind of a... There was a band of criminals who have been rehabilitated, but it looks like maybe they go for one more adventure. And after this, I'm going to read Bradley Denton, Bad Brass. But there you go. So I am kind of knee-deep, shin-deep into A Year and a Day in Old Theridane. And I'm enjoying it. I really like it. Like I said, if you've read Scott Lynch, The Lies of Loch Lamora, let me know if you did really like his writing style. Because like I said, this short story is really intriguing me, and I am, intrigued to try to read more, but My TBR pile, to be read pile is ever expanding, just like my crafting pile, just like my whips and my pattern library and my yarn collection. I've decided to stop calling it a stash. It's a collection. I have long watched and looked at the pictures of Arcane Fiberworks, and I've seen Crystal open it, but seeing the beautiful, beautiful sweaters that Shannon from Another Yarn was making put Tyler back on my radar hardcore. And I was looking at Instagram, and he was showing a die on Instagram, and I had to have it. I couldn't pass it up. I couldn't let that one slip through my fingers. So I did make a purchase. And then funnily enough, like the next day, no, it was a couple days later, because I had just gotten the shipping notice that my package had shipped from Canada. But like the day after I got that shipping notice, and Shannon from Another Yarn shared a package that her husband secretly bought for her with beautiful Arcane Fiberworks. And I was like, I am so glad I know I have that package coming, because otherwise I would be so tempted to log in right now and look again. And I know Shannon made that mistake picking up some pictures for her video, but I believe she said she was able to resist knowing she had just recently received the package. But yeah, I'm rambling at this point. I'm sorry. I am going to go ahead and let you go. Let me know if you have any like reading suggestions. Like I said, my TBR list is... why have I suddenly started burping? I'm so sorry. Actually, I think I know what it is. It seems to be one of the issues I have developed is GERD, which, yay me. But yeah, I've had, so over the weekend, we think, no one else got sick, and it was like a 12-hour misadventure for me. So we think it was just something digestive, something in Erin's specific tummy that set me off. I won't get into the details, but it was gross. We did wonder for a moment if it was something like diverticulitis or something like that, but it still could have been just like a short spat of it. But we don't know, but it was definitely just specific to me. No one else was ill. So thank you so much to all of your well wishes. It was certainly nice to read kind comments while I was stuck in the restroom. I'll leave it at that. I am going to talk to you guys later.